That evening, I sat in the garden with a cup of the tea she gave me. I thought about her laughter, her notebook, and the story she would write. The sky was deep blue now. A few stars had started to appear. Somewhere far off, a dog barked. The wind moved gently through the lemon tree. I wrapped a blanket around my shoulders and watched a small light blink from a nearby window, someone else's evening routine. I've always felt that our home, the little stay, seems to glow a little at dusk, like it knows another story is about to unfold. Then I heard my phone buzz. A message popped up. "Hi, this is Daniel. I'll be arriving late tonight. My flight got delayed. I hope that's okay." I smiled. Later that night. It was already past 10 p.m. The sky was dark, and the wind had picked up a little. My husband put the kettle on while I turned on the porch light. I set out a small plate of cookies, just in case he was hungry after the trip. At 10:40, a car pulled into the driveway. The headlights flashed once, then turned off. I stepped outside and waved. A tall man with glasses and a gray backpack got out of the car. He looked a little tired, but his smile was easy. "Hi, I'm Daniel," he said. "Thanks for waiting up." "Welcome, Daniel," I said. "Come in. You made it." He chuckled. It was a long trip. 2 flights and a delay in Denver. "I'm just glad to be here." I smiled and opened the front door. He stepped inside slowly, like someone arriving not just at a place, but at a pause. The kitchen smelled like chamomile and fresh bread. "I wasn't sure if you'd be hungry," I said, pointing to the plate. Daniel sat down slowly and took a cookie. "I'm starving. Plain snacks don't count as food." We both laughed. I poured him a cup of warm tea. As he sipped it, he looked around. "This place is beautiful. It already feels peaceful." I smiled. That's what many guests say, even late at night. He said he was from Oregon. Worked in tech. Taking a short break after finishing a big project. "Thought I'd get away from screens for a few days," he said. "I haven't touched a garden in years. I don't even own a plant." "Well," I said, "you've come to the right place. There are more plants here than people." Daniel smiled. "That sounds perfect." The next morning, the sun came out gently, slipping through the branches like gold threads. I was already in the kitchen, preparing breakfast. I cracked the eggs, sliced the tomatoes I picked yesterday, and sprinkled a bit of fresh basil on top. The bread I baked the night before was still warm inside the cloth. Around 8:30, Daniel came into the garden. He was wearing a soft gray sweater and simple jeans, holding a cup of tea. "Good morning," he said. "I didn't think I'd sleep so well after that flight." "Fresh air and silence," I said. "They help." We sat at the table near the fig tree. I placed the plates in front of us, garden omelette, toasted bread, and a few strawberries from the corner patch. Daniel looked at the food, then around at the garden. "This is the opposite of my mornings at home," he said. "No rush." I asked. "No alarms, no back-to-back Zoom calls. No emails waiting by 6 a.m. Just this." He took a bite of tomato and smiled. "This tomato tastes like the sun," he said. "Did you grow it?" I nodded. "Yes. It's one of the few things that grows happily in every season here." After breakfast, I walked him toward the raised garden beds. The morning dew was still on the leaves. Bees buzzed lazily around the basil flowers. Daniel crouched down near a tomato plant and gently touched a small green fruit. "I used to grow tomatoes with my dad," he said softly. "Just 2 pots on a balcony. I forgot how much I loved watching them ripen." "What happened?" I asked. He sighed. "Life got busy. I moved around. Got too focused on important things. He paused, then smiled at the plant. They're just so honest, aren't they? Give them sun, water, and they grow. Yes, I said. And they don't hurry. I handed him a small trowel. If you'd like, we can plant something together. It doesn't have to be a big garden. He smiled like a boy. I'd like that. We planted 2 new cherry tomato seedlings. He dug the holes carefully, placed the roots, and patted the soil around them with both hands. So satisfying, he said. I forgot how grounding this feels, literally. As we stood up, I gave him a cloth to wipe his hands. He looked around again, this time slower. Do your guests always stay this calm? He asked. I laughed softly. Not always. But they usually leave calmer than they arrived. He nodded. I think I'm remembering something I forgot, that I'm not just my calendar or my email inbox. I'm someone who can plant a tomato. And wait. After lunch, Daniel asked if he could go for a walk into town. I gave him a cloth bag and pointed him toward the path that leads to Ocean Avenue. There's a little bookstore near the post office, I said. They also sell postcards and local poetry. He smiled. Sounds like exactly the kind of quiet I'm looking for. The afternoon passed slowly. I swept the front steps and watered the herbs. My husband was fixing a broken latch on the garden gate. By the time the sky began to soften, I saw Daniel walking back up the gravel path. He held the cloth bag gently, as if it carried something fragile. I met him on the porch. How was your walk? I asked. Peaceful, he said. I found the bookstore. I didn't buy anything, but I stayed for almost an hour. He paused. I forgot how good it feels to be surrounded by pages, not screens. We sat in the garden again, same table, same fig tree, but the light was different now. Warm and golden. Daniel reached into the bag and took out a small jar of sea salt. I stopped by a local shop, he said. The owner told me this salt is made just down the coast. A good souvenir, I said. Actually, he said, I thought it might be nice on your tomatoes tomorrow. We both laughed. There was a long, quiet pause. He looked at the lemon tree across the garden. Can I tell you something? He asked. Of course, I said. I didn't just come here for a break from work, he said slowly. I came because I couldn't hear myself anymore. I looked at him. He wasn't sad, just tired in a way that sleep doesn't fix. I wake up and check messages before I brush my teeth, he continued. I drink coffee while I answer emails. I eat lunch in meetings. I fall asleep with my laptop still open. He looked down at his hands. After I finished that big project, I realized I didn't know what I liked anymore. The air felt still. I'm not trying to escape my life, he said. I just want to find the part one lost. I nodded slowly. This place doesn't have all the answers, I said. But it gives you time to ask the questions. He smiled. I think I might stay a few extra days, he said. If that's all right. Of course, I said. The garden likes slow people. He stayed for 2 more nights. In those days, he helped me water the herbs, wrote in a small notebook, and even made breakfast one morning, scrambled eggs and burnt toast. We laughed about it for hours. He didn't say much, but something in his eyes softened, like the soil after rain. On his last evening, we sat on the bench under the lemon tree. The sun was setting golden and low. This place, he said quietly, reminded me I'm more than my work. But I still have to go back. I nodded. Real life waits, but maybe a little slower now. He smiled. Yeah, I think I'll take a piece of this pace with me. The next morning, Daniel came down with his bags just after sunrise. We had a quiet cup of tea in the garden. He didn't say much. Before leaving, he gave me a small jar of sea salt and a folded note. "For your tomatoes," he said, "and for the next tired soul." I looked down at the gift in my hands, speechless for a moment. He had already turned and was walking toward his car, his steps calm but firm. I stood there, watching as he got in, started the engine, and disappeared around the corner. Around 10 o'clock, I heard a knock on the gate. A young couple stood there, fresh-faced, a little shy, and glowing with something new. "Hi," the woman said. "We're Lily and Josh. I think we're your next guests." I smiled. "Yes. Welcome to Carmel."